Okay, we're finally leaving all the ratios and proportions and on to the next topic for both the higher and foundation, which is significant figures. So what is a significant figure? Basically, a significant figure is a digit that carries meaning. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, in a significant figure, for instance, if I had the number 2, that 2 contains meaning because it means there's 2 of something. If I had a 0,3, the 0 doesn't carry any meaning. It doesn't have to be there, and it doesn't represent anything. However, if I had 30, the 0 represents something then, because it represents, despite the fact that there are 3 tens, there are 0 units. So how do we work out which ones are significant figures and which ones aren't? Well, it's all the digits that we have, all the numbers, except any leading zeros. And a leading 0 is a 0 that is furthest to the left. So let's have a look at a few examples. Well, this number by here, 1056. The first significant figure here is the number 1, because it's the first number that has meaning. Incidentally, another way of thinking of it is a number that's 1 or greater, sometimes an easier way to think about it. And there's no other numbers to the left of it. Any invisible zeros that are left of it don't have any meaning, so the 1 is the first significant figure. Let's have a look at this number then, 0.23. Well, in this one, the 2 is the first significant figure, because the 0 doesn't represent anything. Any 0 that's furthest to the left, we don't count as a significant figure. So the 2 is the first significant figure that has meaning, so it counts as the first significant figure. In this case, what is the second significant figure? Well, we can see that the number 3 is the first number that is furthest to the left and greater than 0. The 2 zeros that we have by here and by here won't be significant figures. Now, here's where sometimes people get caught out. The 0 by here, because it's already had a number greater than 1 in front of it to the left, that means it does have significance. So it becomes the second significant figure despite the fact that it is a 0. So if the zeros are furthest to the left, they are not significant figures. But if they fall in between or in between 2 other numbers, then they are a significant figure. So what happens if we have to round a number? Now, we've looked at rounding, and we've looked at rounding to decimal places, or if you looked at the pre-GCSEs, rounding whole numbers. But what happens if we wanted to round a number to a particular significant figure? And this, you've got to be careful, because sometimes they ask you to round to 2 decimal places, maybe, for example, whereas other times they'll ask you to round to 2 significant figures. So to round to the third significant figure, the first thing we've got to do is find the third significant figure. So in this case, the 2 zeros to start with, they're furthest to the left, so they're not significant figures. The first number that is 1 or greater is the 3, so this is the first significant figure. The next one, despite the fact that it's 0 because it's between 2 other numbers, is the second significant figure. So the 7 is the third significant figure, and from here on we go back to just what we usually do with rounding. So make sure before you go on you've had a look at the rounding videos, but remember, to round we look at the number to the right of it. In this case it's a number 8, and because that number is 5 or greater, we're going to round up. So we add 1 on to the 7, making it 8, and chop everything else off. So that number 3.03078 rounded to 3 significant figures is 0.0308. So there you have it. That's what a significant figure is, how we write them, and how we round them.